Okay, another double review, but this time I get to review a pay-per-view. Thank God. And also thank God that I'm free of this show for at least 2 months. I thought tonight was the season finale, but it's the mid-season finale. Apparently they're going to keep going with season 3 in January next year. And as we learned Monday on various website outlets, they're putting 2 more cast members. Paige and Alicia Fox. So there's 2 more people that cannot be Divas champion while this show's going on. So that leaves AJ Lee, Emma, Layla. As far as active roster on the road, we can include Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Old Blue Pants, as Enzo and Big Cass have called this girl. Unfortunately, she can't be anything else. I mean, Renee Young tried to call her Kitty Pryde because she was dressed like an X-Men, like an early X-Men, but no, she's Old Blue Pants. Come on out here, Old Blue Pants. I'm just going to get Total Divas out of the way right now just so that we can get to Hell in a Cell because I got a lot to say about that. Hey, a random cameo comes from Sheamus for 2 seconds. And there's no, it's like, don't blur me out, fella. I don't want to be on this television show. You sound more British there than Irish. But it's like, why would we blur your face out anyway? We already know it's you. Fandango asked Natty if everything's okay with TJ because TJ's texting him saying that he's not living there. The question I keep coming up is backstage, why are they still calling him Fandango? It was just like, you can't say, hey Johnny, what's going on? It's Johnny Curtis. Then he won NXT and then he's just like, I'm gonna make my debut, and then next week he's like, now I'm gonna make my debut, and then they took him off TV and made him a dancer. No, he's just like, I won't wrestle until you say my name right. And then he wrestled at WrestleMania, and Jericho put him over, and then he got buried. Now he cries because they're still having problems, and they're still arguing. She tells Nikki, and she's like, don't tell anyone else till we saw a marriage counselor and a divorce lawyer. And she's like, oh my god, Natty, you can't get divorced. And she's like, oh, I promise not to tell anyone. It's like, oh my god, did you hear Natty's getting a divorce from TJ? Bitch. We cut to Monday Night Raw, where it's Paige, the Divas champion at the time, taking on Natty. And as I said, Paige and Alicia Fox are the newest cast members. Okay, here's the problem I have with this. Number one, since day one, since being hired for Florida Championship Wrestling and then turning into NXT, Paige has been built as the anti-diva. Because she doesn't fit the mold, obviously, because of her black raven hair and her, super eyeshadow and her pale skin. She doesn't fit the stereotypical diva. And now they're just like, oh, let's put you on this show. It's like, you're not going to be happy until it's all about them. Like, here's the problem. There's too many cast members already with Rosa and Summer and the Funkadactyls and the Bellas and Natty and God, who else do you want to throw? And plus the boyfriends. Like, there's too much. There's too much stuff in it. Everything gets filtered out. I think there hasn't been anything about Trinity and the Jimmy Uso, for weeks. I think they were barely on there. They had that scuffle with, like, she kept pissing blood. That's it. She hasn't been around. So we cut to Eva and John getting fed, and they're just like, I want John to be wild when he sees my wedding dress. And, of course, Skank City, big fucking open thing like that, and no back. This is just them. Or he gets just to see. This is the thing with weddings, and what I'm finding out now is that it's all about the dress. Like, the guy just has to wear a suit and maybe a fancy vest. There's really little the guy can do to look like spectacular. We just gotta wear a tux and that's it. Where were we? Alright, so Nikki goes to John Cena, talks to her about the divorce with Natty and TJ, and she's like, wow, all the fighting, I don't want to do that. And John's just like, yes, 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 no more marriage talk. So, oh, and a random Melanie appears to shut the door. She's probably like, what are you doing? It's just my reviews. Yeah, he's happy that she's finally downplaying marriage. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Eva Marie. I'm at my cover from my Muscle and Fitness Her. It's like I'm the first diva to show up on there. I'm like, I don't know how long this magazine has existed. Why is she the first diva to be put on there for doing nothing? What has she done besides be on this stupid show and flaunt her tits around? She contributed nothing to the wrestling business other than looking pretty. Now, you may argue for people back in the past. You may argue for Sable doing the exact same thing. Guess what? She could get away with that because she and Jacqueline were the only two women in WWE. I mean, you could argue Terry Runnels, Marlena, but at the time, she was the one everyone was looking at. She's the one that Jim Cornette kept saying that Vince Russo and Vince McMahon just be like, oh, what a lady she was. Oh, well, she's such a lady. Oh, where are we going to put the t-shirt spot? And Jim Cornette would slam his foot. Just like, God damn it, I just want to talk about some fucking wrestling. Can I book some goddamn wrestling? Fuck them titties. Fuck the t-shirts. Fuck you, Russo, and fuck you, Kevin Dunn, you buck-toothed little bastard. I love Jim Cornette. You have to tell him about my videos. I like talking about his shoot. Go watch any Jim Cornette shoot interview, podcast, anything. He's hilarious. Unfortunately, he'll probably never be put in the Hall of Fame because he speaks his mind too much. So yeah, Natty pulls her Eva aside and is like, I want to go to your wedding, but I don't want to sit next to TJ because we're having problems. And it's just like, you don't ask the bride to be like, I don't want to be seated with my husband. I want to be seated with your family. It's like, you don't know my family. Why would I put you there? It's like, look, we have our wedding party, and then we have our family or wedding party. We all have to sit together. You have to go sit where I tell you to sit. So weddings work. So we go to a dinner with Bree and Daniel and the family, and Nikki tells everyone, she's like, you know what, after everything with Natty and TJ, I'm okay with not marrying John. They're just like, that's not you. You've done nothing but bitch about marriage since the beginning of this show. You are not okay with this. This is the story of the week. It's like, I'm not okay. I'm okay with it now. Oh, maybe I'm not okay. And Bree's upset she's giving up. She's like, this is your dream. You wanted a wedding since you were a baby. Don't give up. Yeah, and I guess everyone in the family is odds about whether or not John should know about this. It's just like, look, I think he's manipulating her. He kinda is, unintentionally. Let's see. Everyone's at the wedding. TJ and Natty came together and they're in separate rooms. I don't know why. It would have been much easier just to tell TJ to stay home. Oh crap, I'm already bored. Okay, so I guess they're in Napa Valley. Oh god, I just thought of some abridged jokes. Oh, they're in Napa Valley. Rigo wine tasting. Imagine if it's just like Napa showing up. It's just like here's a bottle of Devotion, 1947. Vegeta. Okay, and she keeps rubbing in the wedding stuff though the whole time. It's like, oh, I'm married, but she's not married. So they start driving back, and both of them are fucking hammered, and they're just calling like, Natty, we went to wine tasting. Natty, we're going out tonight. You're gonna get drunk. Like, watch this. I'm gonna punch my sister in the face. Look at that cow. Wow, you're such a bitch. And they start slap fighting. I don't think they've been wine tasting before. Apparently, you are supposed to spit the wine. You're supposed to swirl it and spit it out into a bucket. If you've not seen, I think it was like a Family Guy episode where it's like, Carter, do you tell your son-in-law he's supposed to spit after every taste? He's like, hey, where's that Peter Griffin guy? He gave me $100 if I took my clothes off. So come here, you son of a bitch. Why do you close your eyes when we make love? Oh yeah, so they... I forgot to put this in, but they take Natty out to dinner and bring out TJ and Vinny and Cameron. They're just like, you guys, you need this wine. This wine will fix all your problems. Shut up. This wine will fix your problem. We got you a book about cats and wine. You love that shit. Here, take the book. It's good. You're gonna love it. And she's like, oh my god, thank you. This is gonna be mine. She's like, no, it's gonna be mine. It's like, shut up. And drunk Bellas are funny. That's the most entertainment I got of this show is watching them be drunk. Like, can we just have like a full hour? Like, totally wasted Divas. I would totally watch that. It's just like, oh my god, is Rice such a skank? You're a skank. You know? I would be way more entertained by that. Rehearsal dinner, not knowing what's going on there. They were just talking about, like, oh, I get to meet the rest of John's family. Oh yeah, so they're all awake and they're all like, oh god, I'm so hungover, we gotta go to this wedding. Then they get on a party bus and drink some more. It's like, breed mode ready to effect. Woo! Like, pace yourselves. There's a wedding. Like, go get wasted at the reception. That's what that's for. So it's Eva's wedding day. Thankfully, what they showed in this season of Total Divas didn't happen, which implied that someone was going to collapse at the wedding. Probably the father, and thank God that did not happen. Maybe it did, but they wrote it out. So Eva's... Why did I have earring? Oh, I forgot a W there. Eva's wedding. She's wearing a black rig, so she's daddy's little girl, and not that stupid fiery red that she claims she got because she didn't want to be blonde in the first episode, and creative was just like, I like it, but listen to us, we know what we're talking about. I mean, look at Fandango. Look at Bo Dow. Look at Jack Sweat. Oh. I'm just naming anyone that's getting buried at the moment. Now he tries to rewrite where she sits. I wrote down the wedding. It's this typical 2-minute wedding that they show on every... I think the finales, mid-season or full season, seem to have the same formula. Wedding, and then Cena, Nikki troubles. Natty just leaves because she's like looking at this. She's like, this is me and TJ last year. Getting married, and now we're fighting. So she just leaves. She's like, I'm over this. I'm done. Now we come to the big tumultuous thing. Bree, her brother, and her mother take John Cena out to dinner and start laying out everything. It's just like, we just feel like you're manipulating her, and he's just like, okay, I never intended that. I told her from day one I don't want marriage or kids, and she's still around. So, and the brother's like, I think you need to let her go and give her what she needs. And the mother's like, hold on, stop. We don't need this. Look, we all care about her. We want what's best, but we can't tell her what she does, and we can't tell him what to do. And he's just like, you know what? I feel like in some weird way I am manipulating her. So he brings up the talk, and it's just like, look, we've been together for how long? I'm like, let me ask you again. Do you see marriage in your future? In a perfect world, yes. It's like, okay, in a perfect world, do you want kids? Yes. It's like, okay. Then maybe you being with me is not your perfect world. And he's like, are you letting me go? It's like, well, so adjective. If you love something, set it free. If you don't, it was never meant to be. If they don't come back, it was never meant to be. So, And that's where they end. And this is where we go. I thought I was done, and then there's just like I kept seeing at the bottom mid-season finale. I was just like, fuck, I've still got 10 more episodes of this shit. But thankfully, we're gonna take a 2-month break. They're gonna introduce Paige and Alicia Fox next season. Everything's gonna be a bit convoluted, and I think it's just gonna be like everyone fighting each other. Like apparently, Paige tries punching out somebody, which will lead into what we're gonna see tonight, or what we saw last night, which is. Okay, someone at E is stupid. Because, like, remember the last couple of weeks they've been, like, bumping up, like, 2-hour episodes? Why would you book your season finale, your mid-season finale, on the same night as a WWE pay-per-view? Like, no WWE fan's gonna watch that. Like, you're banking on, like, the stupid people who watch, like, Todd Chrisley and Kim Kardashian and all these other people to watch Total Divas. I mean, but like they've toned. I've noticed this. They've toned back on actual like WWE event centered stuff, and there's more focus on their own schlock writing for this stuff. So, but yeah, oh god. I really don't want to do the mid-season, but it's the next part. But apparently, it's still season 3, and I said I finished season 3. So finale for now. We'll be back in January. But hey, okay, let's stop. Let's talk about good stuff. Let's talk about Hell in a Cell and how alright it was. The most entertaining thing was like talking about it on Twitter. For those of you who don't know, my part-time boss, Stuttering Craig of Screwattack.com, and the producer of live content over at Screwattack, Brian, got tickets to Hell in a Cell, and they were tweeting throughout the night. And he sent me a funny retweet last night, which I got to pull up. But, okay, let's start it off. It's Hell in a Cell, which I think in this PG era, we have to get rid of Hell in a Cell, because Hell in a Cell is known, because they keep showing us, like, this is the devil's favorite playground, this is the sadistic and barbaric, no one leaves the same. It's like, that could have been, that's better back in the Attitude Era, when people could still gank themselves from one chair shot, you know, when they could, like, grate themselves, and, like, blood would be splurting everywhere. You can't do that anymore. I mean, you're very, very, very limited. The last bloody Hell in a Cell, I think, was the DX versus McMahon's and Big Show, where they shoved Mr. McMahon's ass up shoved Mr. McMahon up Big Show's ass. I almost said ass to ass. Human spider. So, they really should just do something else. So, okay, here we go. So it started off best 2 out of 3 falls for the Intercontinental Championship. Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler, the current champion. Really, really high pace. Here's the problem I had. Ziggler won 2-zip. I don't think I've ever seen a best 2 out of 3 falls match where it didn't go 1v1 and then someone got the final match. Let me name a few. Triple H versus Stone Cold, the 2001 No Way Out, and that was what was considered the 3 stages of Hell match, where they had singles match, no DQ, and then steel cage match to end it all. Sami Zayn versus Cesaro at NXT. Went 2 out of 3. And Sami Zayn won the first fall in like 20 seconds or something like that. God, what else was a good 2 out of 3 falls match? I'm hard pressed to find one right now, but yeah, it was it was weird. It didn't really make sense for Cesaro to lose 2 straight, but hopefully he doesn't get pushed down the card. Hopefully he continues on, but some of these things seem to be the mid-cards seem to be like these one-off matches that are just going to get ended. Some cool spots where Dolph had Cesaro in like an arm wringer. He's like, we're really working the arm, and Cesaro, with his natural strength, like, keeps him in that hold, gets up to the second rope, still in that hold, deadlifts him up into a superplex. That's crazy. He brought back the Cesaro swing, thank God. It's just like, can you just let people get over? If we like them, put them on TV more. Like, we're the paying audience. We tell you what we want. You don't tell us what we should like. Vince. Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining match. A lot of people don't like Dolph Ziggler's, like, overselling, but you know what? I'd rather have an overseller than an underseller, like Cena. Okay, so we go backstage, and the Authority's talking, and Randy is like, it's like, hey, don't know if you know where I can find Seth Rollins, I can just beat his skull in. He's like, Randy, calm down. You got a match against Cena. Take your aggression out on Cena. And he's like, listen, you're mad at Seth Rollins for giving you a curb stomp. You would have done the same thing. You would have RKO'd him out of nowhere. Like, seriously, like, you two are more alike than you want to admit. And he's like, okay, fine. I'll focus on Cena. I said, but if you guys don't take care of Seth Rollins, I will. Teasing face turn, and I know Orton does not want to turn face. He will admit this. He does not want to turn face. And he shouldn't turn face. He's a way better heel than he is a face. Like, there's really no difference. It's just the guys he fights against. He's still the same guy. You know? And he works much better as a heel. And I'm like, okay, why are you bringing this up now? And why didn't you do this on SmackDown? He curb stomped you on Monday. SmackDown is yeah, I know it's the B show and all the whole you main eventers like working the B show anymore, but you could have taken care of business on SmackDown. Just saying. Okay, next up, this match hurt. But thank God they put it on second. Nikki Bella versus Brie Bella. The loser must be the winner's personal assistant for 30 days or quit WWE. These two actually worked kind of stiff, which is good. But they still had the stupid Divas moves, which is pulling of the hair, you know, face buster. I mean, does every diva have to do a goddamn face buster? Sorry, X Factor? It's an X Factor. It's called the X Factor. I mean, X-Pac does that. You really want to be compared to X-Pac? Anyway, so obviously Nikki wins. There's no way Brie was winning. So, yeah, they're going to do this stupid, like, you're going to be my assistant, bitch, and you're going to do what I tell you to do. Until she quits, which it won't happen. So what happens after the 30 days? That's it? It's like, oh, I'm going to be your servant anymore. We're done. And it's like, no, we're going to have another match. And then they start fighting. Oh, God. It was over quick. She does that rack attack twice and wins. Yeah, it definitely is a rack attack. If you know what I mean, guys. Next up, WWE Tag Team Championships. The Usos versus Golden Stardust. And I had to, I was watching this at work, and I had to explain to people who Stardust was. Because one guy said, hey, where's that Cody? I said, that's him. That's Stardust. That's Cody, Dust's brother. Like, what? They also had to tell one guy, cause, like, Goldust is still around? I said, guys, he's in his 50s, man. He moves better than Flair does in his 50s. Good on Dustin, man. I don't think I need to go over this match. Usos super kick a bunch. Goldust and Stardust win it. No heelless way. They win clean. What did they say? Okay with the finish. It wasn't really dirty. Just the team take advantage of the rest out of place. A good argument for a rematch? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, whatever you say, Russell Zone. Okay, so backstage vignette. Brie Bella is shown already being put to work by Nikki, loading up the luggage into a car when Nikki asks for her smoothie. And it's like, did you make it correctly? You have X amount of bananas, X amount of of strawberries, all that? It's like, yes. It's like, okay. That's good smoothie. That's yours. Go make me another one, exactly the same, but I'm actually going to drink it. Oh, I told her to bring it to the hotel. She gets in the car and drives away. And Nikki's just like, oh, egg on my face. And in the shocker of the night, the next match, contested inside Hell in a Cell, is John Cena versus Orton. Mind blown. They're listening to the internet. They're not putting Orton and Cena last. And they're giving the young guys the spotlight. Thank you, WWE. Thank you, Creative. More of this, please. Although, unfortunately, because of this match, we already know what the main event of Survivor Series is going to be. I legitimately laughed so hard at work. People are wondering why I was laughing so hard. When they were lowering the cell, and they're like, this is Satan's structure. Hellfire and Brimstone, next gotta be Kane. All this crap, whatever they were saying. I couldn't hear the audio. The camera zoomed in on a sign that says, hope you enjoy Cena vs. Orton number 121. Now, I had to really think back and they've been in the WWE for 12 years now. They both debuted in 2002. Cena, the night after King of the Ring, when Kurt Angle beat Hogan and then took his wig off and said, I'm okay with being bald because I just beat Hogan. And then he came out and it's like, I'm John Cena. And he didn't do the rapping thing yet. And then Orton debuted by Stacy Keibler hitting on him. And he had that little, fruffled hair. That's when he used to do crossbodies off the top rope, and he had that stupid finishing move that MVP does. The one where you twist around and, you break people's shoulders. That was before he ripped off DDP and started doing, an ace cutter. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, so they debuted at the same time. Now, I was just trying to think, have they really done Cena Orton that many times? And I'm thinking, they've been in a lot of main events. I don't think it's been hundreds and hundreds of times. I think a lot of people are counting Raw. Maybe. If people could go back to the history of WWE and look at every single match, can we count up Cena versus Orton? Has it really happened that much? I think it's happened enough where people are just like, okay, we've seen enough. Let's get out of this. Now, either with Cena, okay, let's all talk about the 5 moves of doom. Cena really, if they're gonna play this off about his character, he really needs to change his moveset. Because since Money in the Bank of 2011, when CM Punk fought him for the WWE title on his exit out of the company the first time, he kept countering his moves, and people since then have been countering his sequence of 5 moves of doom. When he goes for the you can't see, people kick him in the head. He should just, as soon as he does that weird twist out powerbomb, instead of going, you can't see me, and then does the 5-knuckle shuffle. By the way, why is that the only move of his that hasn't been renamed for PG era? 5-knuckle shuffle is... You figure that out yourself, kids. But, okay, last night, here's how his sequence works. His comeback sequence. It's shoulder block. Shoulder block. Twist out. Powerbomb. Play off to the crowd. Half of you booing. Kids cheering. You can't see me. That's off. 5-knuckle shuffle. Back when he had the pump up shoes, he would pump up his cleats. Or his I don't know what they're called. And then you go for the FU. But this time it was shoulder block, boom, RKO! RKO out of nowhere! RKO out of nowhere! Kick out. Cena really has to change up his moveset or else he keeps getting countered. I'm sure, if Hogan was still wrestling and he kept doing, the punches, and would he throw you off the ropes to give you the big boot? Motherfucker would grab the boot, turn him around, maybe If you're Austin, give him a stunner. If you're Orton, turn him around, give him an RKO. That has to be like when people start going into that, like that comeback sequence that all baby faces do. Do that. Get your finisher in that way. No surprise, Cena wins. Lol. FU through the table. They did a lot of table spots and there was like, this is the best Hell in a Cell match of all time. I'm like, no, Foley getting thrown off is the best. You all know it. You've done various top 10s where you've admitted it's the best one. This was an average match. This is the best thing. So this is for number one contendership, which I find funny that Cena is awarded a number one contenders match when he lost a match to Dean Ambrose for the right to fight Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. It's like, okay, you can just fight Orton in the cell. Oh, and we'll give you a championship match. If that was the other two, I'd be pissed. Well, not Seth Rollins, because he's got Money in the Bank, but... So yeah, they're going to do Cena and Brock 3. This is their fourth match. And here's going to be the whole Cena overcoming the odds. Which, I've read a good story, someone wrote, that Cena doesn't really overcome the odds, does he? You look at SummerSlam. He got decisively beaten by Brock Lesnar. Suplexed 16 times. 16 German suplexes. Got his shit pushed in. Lost the belt to Brock Lesnar. Was not seen on Raw the next night. And everyone's like, oh, what has this done to the psyche of John Cena? What has this done? Because like he's not the same man. And he shouldn't fight Lesnar again. Shows up the next week on Raw and says, I'll fight Lesnar again. And we go back to a couple of years ago at WrestleMania. John Cena versus The Rock. Where he's like, Rock doesn't need to win. I need to win. I need this for my career. Loses. Is defeated. He's gonna, and somehow this puts him into a funk. And then this is the return of Brock Lesnar, which was like the worst kept secret in wrestling. Because we all know, then he came back, and then he had the Brock Lesnar guy. I swear to God, he works for WWE. He's a planted fan. They have those. Frank the Clown. Okay, so yeah, so everyone's telling him, it's like, I don't know what you are in your head. Yeah, you lost to The Rock. Big deal. Everyone loses. Wake up, John. This was Edge, by the way. He said that in his last night in the company. Officially. And then what happens? Cena comes back, beats the odds, and beats Lesnar. That was the wrong decision. Lesnar should have won his first match back. And he should have had Paul Heyman with it at all sides. Because even when he left Paul Heyman, he still couldn't cut a promo. Okay. So, yeah, beyond that. Okay, United States Championship. The Miz with Damian Mizdow versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. I'm so happy that Damian Sandow is actually doing something. He's the Miz's stunt double, which he just mirrors everything the Miz does. Like, so if Miz has got like Sheamus in a headlock, he's outside the ring giving an invisible headlock to an invisible wrestler. When he goes for the figure four, he's bumping on the mat. And when the Miz is selling a knee, he's selling the knee. The end of the match was okay. Sheamus wins. This wasn't like an amazing match to begin with. Excuse me. He boots Miz. Big boots to Miz. Wins. Damian gets in the ring to sell the bro kick. So Sheamus goes to lift his arm. Damian lifts his arm. Does it again. So he's like, I'm going to have some fun with this. Now, if I had been him, I would have done the juvenile thing and, took Miz's finger, stuck it up his nose, and be like, aha, you're picking your nose. But he picks him up and starts doing YMCA but backwards. He did the C this way. So the and Damien Sandow is like still acting like he's like knocked out. He's like so he starts doing the YMCA. And after that we get the racist storyline I don't care about. I'm so done with this feud. It's like I'm from Bulgaria, but Putin rates war, so now I'm Russian. Yekshimej. I know that's Borat, but it's the only accent I know. And they play the Russian national anthem, and then Big Show comes out and breaks that up. And everyone's like, you're not saying you're the heel. You're disgracing another country. But who cares? America! This isn't World Wrestling Entertainment. This is America Wrestling Entertainment. I should really reverse that W. I'm so sick of this pro-USA bullshit. I understand it 13 years ago with 9/11. I do. You know, it was a tragedy. Everyone was in mourning. We all had to be USA. God, this is 2014. We've killed every dictator is dead. Every dictator terrorist is dead. Bin Laden's dead. Hussein's dead. Kim Jong-il's dead. The closest we have is Putin. They've barely done anything. You don't want to invade another country. That got stopped. Are they still going with it? Probably not. I don't read the news. I mean, if it was that big, I would have heard of it. The worst thing is that putting someone's face on a Titantron. WWE, as far as like foreign stuff, is like grasping at straws right now. I wasn't paying attention to this. Mark Henry came out, even though Big Show did not ask him to come out, and I'm just like, is Mark Henry going to turn heel? No, he didn't. Rusev kicks both of them. Super kicks them both. By the way, remember when Shawn Michaels was the only person doing a super kick in WWE? Now everyone does it. The Usos, Ziggler, Rusev. I'm pretty sure there's others that are doing super kicks. Okay, so he puts him in the Acolyte, which is the camel clutch, but they can't call it the camel clutch because there's no camels in Russia. So Rusev puts him in camel clutch, break his back, fuck his ass, make him humble. And apparently Big Show taps out without him getting it on camera. Then the Russian flag comes down, he does his whole Divas Championship match, Paige with Alicia Fox versus AJ Lee. This feud has to end. AJ wins. Paige slaps Alicia Fox, which unfortunately we will have to wait 5 months to find out what happens. Because they're on Total Divas now. What's this? Something fell off. It just didn't gel like the other matches. It's just... I agree too. AJ has this weird way of bumping off the ropes. It's not Kelly bad, but it's like... I don't know. I think she might have to do the Rey Mysterio approach. If you're too short to bump on the top rope, bump on the middle rope. No, I actually, for once, I actually agree with WrestleZone.com. They fell flat. And now, the cell comes down again. They're ready for Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose comes out to the ring with a kendo stick and a holster. I'm like, or in a, whatever you call them for, is it a sheath? A scythe? What do they hold swords in? A sheath? I'm like I was telling the guys that work for watching this is like, this is silly. Why is he carrying a kendo stick? I said, I know, there's at least like 10 of them underneath the ring. And they look at me like, why would they be under the ring? I'm like, it's wrestling. Hello? You put random shit underneath the ring, they'll use as weapons later on. Idiots. They don't know anything. So, Homage to Foley, he throws a ton of steel chairs in the ring, but then says, fuck it, and climbs to the top of the cell and says, let's start this on the cell. And he takes the kendo stick out and he's twirling. He's like, come on, come on. Seth Rollins comes out with the New Stooges. Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. I might piss off a lot of wrestling fans by saying this, but Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury cannot hold a candle to Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson. Let's go over these guys' credentials. Pat Patterson, the very first Intercontinental Champion, Hall of Famer. Gerald Briscoe, multiple-time World Tag Team Champion with his brother Jerry. These guys are Hall of Famers. Joey Mercury is most famous for busting his nose open during an impromptu Fatal 4-Way Tag Team ladder match. And he was never the same after that. Jamie Noble, if you're an internet wrestling fan, you know his greatest height was being Ring of Honor World Champion. The man who beat CM Punk before he went to WWE. And then lost the belt to Daniel Bryan? I can't remember who he lost it to before he went back to WWE. I mean, he was the guy who wrestled in Tommy Hilfiger jorts long before Cena did. And was multiple-time Cruiserweight Champion. He was the last legit guy to hold it before Hornswoggle beat him for it. And then they both became road agents. But, to their credit, Gerald and Pat would never climb the cell. Much less get in one. Seth Rollins is pissed because Dean Ambrose is on the top and he's like, you two go up there and get him. So Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble circle the ring, circle the cell, climb on opposite ends to try and get Dean Ambrose down. And that gives enough time for Seth Rollins to climb the cell to go after him. So they smosh for a bit on top. Noble and Mercury take some suplexes off the cell. And to my knowledge, I think they were up to the whole match. I don't think they actually cut off the cell. I have to go back and rewatch it, but... So, paying homage to Foley, both Seth and Dean are on the side of the cell, and they're fighting each other, and they both fall off the cell and crash through the announce tables. And there was no audio on that, but in my mind, I'm playing back 97 King of the Ring, JR and the King. Good God Almighty! Good God Almighty! They've killed him! Oh my God. As God my witness, he's broken in half! And just like King of the Ring 97, they both bring out stretchers to get them out, and they're just like, oh, we apologize. Let's replay this 1,000 times. And then Dean does the Foley and gets up first. And it's just like, how in the hell is he still standing? He goes to Seth Rollins, gets him off of the stretcher, throws him in the ring. They shut the door. They officially make this match go. A lot of crazy spots. Rollins had duct tape for some weird reason. Let's see what we can... we get some screwdriver shots, suicide dives, a lot of table spots. He was going to do something, and then Kane puts out Dean Ambrose with a fire extinguisher. And they're just like, where did Corporate Kane come from? By the way, stop calling him Corporate Kane. Stop even calling him Kane. When he doesn't have that mask and he's in a suit, he's Glenn Jacobs. If he lets that hair grow any longer, he'll become Isaac Yankem DDS again. Or let it grow down to his ass and he can become fake Diesel again. Let's see. Yeah, this was pretty entertaining. So... he's got the briefcase. He's about to finish off Rollins. He's going to curve stomp him. And then the lights go out. And then you hear some chanting. I couldn't hear the chanting. But my guys at work were like, the lights are out. Oh, is the pay-per-view over? And I looked at the thing that said live. And then I saw a closed caption because we can't have audio on at work. And I said, what's going on? And I was like, oh, it's Bray Wyatt. And like, who? I said, oh, Bray Wyatt's come back. Like, I called it. This rumor was going around, and I called it, too. And it was like, yeah, Bray Wyatt's come back. What I didn't call was him. It opens up with a lantern being turned on in the middle of the ring, with smoke coming up, and a hologram. It's like, it looked like the girl from Resident Evil. It was like, you're all going to die down here. Whoever that girl was. I don't watch Resident Evil. So, and then all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt comes out of the smoke to clothesline Dean Ambrose. Takes him out, and then Rollins, like, creepily, like, goes in for the cover. He's just like, you're not going to hit me too? And he's just like, no, brother, cover him. I've got a feud to settle. And makes the cover, and then Bray Wyatt gets up and hits him with Sister Abigail, and then that's what closes the show. Okay. I gotta go back real quick because I forgot to call a spot for Orton Cena. Cena goes for an AA. Orton counters it midair into an RKO. JBL's like, I've never seen that before, and I'm like, it's been done at least 3 times. I don't know who's feeding line to them. Sometimes it's Vince, but this day and age, I would assume it's more Triple H. If everyone remembers that this is Cena versus Orton 121, how can no one remember that they've done this spot at least 4 or 5 times? With an AA countered into an RKO. They've done it through motherfucking tables. It's just like when Big Show and Mark Henry imploded the ring. It's like, I've never seen that before. It's like, I know Lesnar's not with the company at the time, but you can mention these old spots. This is what I hate about WWE, is if there's nobody if they're not with the company, they're never mentioned. Like, it's like, oh, we forgot about that history because he's not with us anymore. It's like, no, he's part of your company. You can't just brush him under the rug just because you wish the best of luck in their future endeavors. Anyways. Cool ending to the end. I gotta read this tweet from Stuttering Craig that because he said, worst ending ever for the pay-per-view. And I'm like, I thought that was pretty good. I was like, Wyatt's return was predictable, but I was entertained. I'm glad to see him back. And he tweets back at me, so just to be clear, you predicted Wyatt would have a projector of himself in the ring, run through the fog, and clothesline Ambrose. I'm like, well, no, I can't call that much, but I could call that he was coming back. I mean, I'm not that good of a writer. At least in the realm of the WWE, I should be. Oh yeah, and I tweeted out, as God's my witness, he's broken in half, and someone tweeted out, well, not really. I'm like, in this day and age, that's as close as we're going to get to a fully falling off the steel, or the cage. Anyways, that's it for Total Divas for a few months. I'll be back in January with these reviews. So don't forget, guys, this month is Wrestling Month here on the channel. We're doing Let's Plays. I'm doing the SmackDown retrospective that's beginning next Monday. Not this Monday, because we're still in October. But next Monday, we are doing Wrestling Month. We're doing Let's Play. We're doing reviews. I'm doing the SmackDown retrospective. And when the next-gen version of 2K15 is released, I'm doing live streams over on my Twitch channel. So stay tuned for that. Tell your friends about it. We're going to have a fun month here on the channel. A little bit of house cleaning. What I've been told, unless you absolutely have to, if you don't have a next-gen console, avoid the 360 and PS3 versions of 2K15. Because apparently all they did was update it's basically 2K14 with an updated roster. And they reworked the Road to WrestleMania they called it Who Got NXT, or Who Got Next. Where you just fight Bo Dallas, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, and some other guy they don't use on TV. So if you don't have an Xbox One or PS4, if that's the only console you have, proceed with caution. You're just paying for last year's game. For the rest of us that have next-gen consoles, we're getting ready for a new experience come November 18th, and I'm stoked. So, get hyped for Wrestling Month. That's it for Total Divas Reviews for a while. I'll be back in January, and I hope it's more entertaining than this mid-season has been, because this mid-season sucked. Hell in a Cell, I give it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good. Would watch again. I did. I watched it. I watched it with no sound at work, and then I watched half of it with sound at home because I wanted to hear the crowd pop for Cesaro moves, and man, did they pop! Push this guy. Anyways, guys, you have a good one, and I'll see you in January for more Total Divas.